The defensive energy was up tonight. What do you accredit? How do you account for the defense you guys played, especially the first half of the game?
We remember how they came out and when we were in LA a couple of weeks ago, and obviously for us, it was a sense of urgency, understanding to give ourselves a chance to get out of this hole and get a win, and remember what that feels like. Our defensive energy and presence needed to be there, and besides like that 6-minute stretch in the fourth quarter, it's a really solid effort out there. Everybody's on the string, making multiple efforts, being physical. And then that you see how it leads to easy offense when you can push the ball and you're not having to take it out of the basket every play or giving them easy free throws. So that's how you draw it up in terms of Warrior basketball on both ends of the floor. We just got to try to build that and keep putting games together.
How much of it do you think was physicality, and how much of it do you think was just awareness of who you were playing and what you need to do to guard certain guys?
It was all of that, and getting sick and tired of losing.
How did the conversation come about to go back to your pretty much your old rotation pattern, and what do you think that does?
What game was it? LA? Coach texted me. I was on the bus on the way to the game and said, "Hey, I think we should go back to all rotation." I said, "Yes, sir."
Where did you?
That literally is how it went down.
How happy were you when you saw the text?
No, overblow. Like I knew, like we've always talked about, at a certain point when we were finishing the year, that was going to be the way to go, especially with Clay back and options to figure out how to keep our second unit cohesive. So it's just a matter of when, and hopefully give us a good, scope of games to, for everybody to be comfortable, because it helps me to obviously know, get a rhythm and get into the game. It helps the second unit know that you're going to have a certain stretch of time, know certain calls and sets, and hopefully get some chemistry with that group. So we'll see.
Kerr mentioned that they like you, Clay, and Jordan together. There's proof that works. I hadn't really seen it a lot, but has there been kind of a conversation to get that group out there more often?
Not with us. Like obviously there's been a lot of different combinations of guys, and I don't know what the numbers say in terms of us three out there and whoever the other two are, but you just, as long as we're making the right play, being aggressive and letting the game come to us, there's enough shooting and playmaking, and we can work off each other really well. You just got to make shots, obviously, and then you got to do it on the defensive end, and we can push the pace too, because you got Clay running the wing, me or Jordan bringing it up. You kind of pick your poison type vibe, but you got to get enough stops to be able to make teams pay for that. So tonight was a good night, I guess, with our stretch of minutes.
Steph, how much can a fun pregame like that with Will Ferrell taking the court and surprising you guys kind of just lift the mood, lighten the spirit?
It can go either way.
Okay, it looked fun.
It was fun. I'm glad we took advantage of it, but we lost like 4 or 5 straight, and you add that to the mix, get a little distracted. But I think we fed off the energy. I was actually surprised how well how his form. He actually had some good rotation on the ball and endless energy. I don't know how. I saw him come out. Thought it was just going to be a couple minutes of just messing around, but he really gave it a full, warm-up session and was out there doing everything. He gave us a riveting speech before the game in our team meeting. So it was good vibes. He's obviously hilarious, so he brought it today. The 2-ball? It's not for everybody.
Kerr said that Clay is requested to defend the best perimeter player, like he has certainly in the past. I don't know if you knew that, you heard that, but I'm sure that doesn't surprise you that Clay, I think his pride is a little bit up right now. Maybe do you sense that?
Yeah, that's the nature of like a competitive beast that he is, and that high expectations he has for himself. Like even after a game like tonight, he's still talking about a shot. And I'm like, yo, it's gonna come. Just keep being aggressive as your Klay Thompson. Don't ever forget that. And I guess that goes to both ends of the ball. Just you want to maybe that challenge will get him locked in a little bit, to start games and give him something to look forward to outside of just trying to put the ball in the basket. So it's a great sign that I guess his body feels good enough coming off, the extended break he's had to take on that challenge. He's obviously more than capable. So it's good to know he's thinking like that.
You closed tonight with Moody and Kuminga on the floor, and Poole. Can you feel that kind of collective merging into I guess bigger factors late in the season?
I mean, yes and no. Like we obviously have two guys that are huge parts of what we do with Draymond and Andre, that if they're healthy, they're going to be out there. And you have a lot of confidence that we can win at the highest level with those two guys. But you have to have a collective of, 9, 10, 11 guys that go into a playoffs and feel like you can throw them out there at any point and they can contribute. So as much experience as they can get, as much confidence as those three guys can have, and just an understanding of what it's going to take to win when it matters. You hope you can count on that, whatever the situation is or whatever they're asked to do. So that'll materialize as we go through the rest of the season.
It sounds like the return of Draymond, who announced his own, and Andre and James is more a matter of days than weeks. The timing of this, how do you feel about the timing of this, giving you guys some time before the postseason hits?
As many games as we can get is huge, obviously. We want them healthy. You don't want to rush that process. Most of the guys have been through it, where there's a anxiousness that lasts a little bit where you feel good enough to play, but you kind of got to go through that last, part of the return to play protocols and all of that just to make sure you check off all the boxes. But there is a sense of urgency for us to get on the right path, these last, 16, 17 games. So I'm excited about it. Obviously, I know the whole team is, and I know they are. And again, the more reps we can get, the better. We want to go into the playoffs with some feel good, however we can make that happen.
Piggybacking off of that, what have you seen from James Wiseman in your recent workouts and scrimmages? Do you feel like he's just right there knocking at the door to get back into game action?
Yeah, obviously he's going to play on Thursday, I think they said, in Santa Cruz. And that's going to be big for him just to get into a 5-on-5 competitive action, break a sweat, and, just see how he responds. He's obviously very gifted and just the physical presence, something that we just don't have. But we'll see how that manifests in terms of, what he looks like when he's playing. I'm just excited he gets to hoop. Like that's the biggest thing. Rehab sucks and it's monotonous, and especially when you're a young guy like that has been in that process for the majority of, the beginning of your career. So just to let him play and kind of let the bird out the cage a little bit, whatever he can bring when he's ready to come up here, we'll see. And hopefully we can put him in positions to be successful no matter what that looks like.
Do you still think he could help this team during a playoff run?
Yeah, he does stuff that we saw a little, bits and pieces last year before you got hurt, that he was starting to really figure it out in terms of, defensive paint presence, understanding our offense and how, we can help him make things a little easier. Obviously that was a long time ago, and you just want to put him in a position where he can be successful. So hopefully we'll have enough games to coach to, press his, call his number and see what happens. And for him to just have confidence when he goes out there and just play. So we'll see.
favorite kind of question. Did you kind of tweak your ankle a little bit there, right ankle? Is everything okay?
All good. No worries at all.
Steph, you spent not a lot of time, but time off the ball, like basically pointing to Jordan Poole to essentially go cook. And I was thinking the players over your career who've been on the opposite side, it's been like Monte, Jared Jack, KD. Why do you feel so comfortable with that being Poole? And what is it about him that makes you like him as the opposite playmaker of you?
I mean, you know how gifted of a scorer he is. He's got as close to like a 3-level type approach for a young guy, and he's really dynamic. And it, at times throughout the game, it gives the defense a different look, because I know how they game plan against me, and usually that's either a top block or a bunch of blitzes or extra bodies, and then you got to put JP in a pick and roll, and they got to make adjustments or try to get the ball out of his hands, and then you got me and Clay and whoever on the backside. So it just gives us a different look, and you got to know when the right times of the game to go to it. And then if it works, keep going to it, because he's capable enough to make those plays and really put pressure on a defense that may or may not prepare for that. So I like the way he's coming into just being aggressive, being aggressive, but keeping things simple. That's been the next evolution for him, because he's so dynamic. He can shoot three, he can beat you off the dribble. He's a crafty finisher, got float game, everything. So it's a different look.
Where does his confidence rank among the youngsters you've played with, like 21 and under, I guess?
Well, in recent history, I haven't had a lot of them. So he's on his own journey on that front. I'm loving watching him and building confidence in himself, because that 5-year run, we didn't really have the need for some young guys to come in like that and have that much responsibility, and he's in a different role.